I know that you know all about your hip flexors or psoas major muscles. And I know that your physical therapist told you so. I know that you already know how to stretch yourself. And I also know that you already saw a video like this. Then, how come you're still checking out this video? You see, if you already found your solution to bad posture, then I assume that you are already there. And watching this video would be a waste of time for you. Maybe you are like most people who are looking for shortcuts. You know that famous YouTube quick fix? Unfortunately, no hard feelings, but this is not the place you are looking for. You see, most people doesn't know that in order to be effective in all ways, you have to be consistent. And this applies especially to your well-being. And that includes a long, serious relationship and commitment to your body. And of course, a commitment to a video like this. It is not sufficient just to know a new idea, a new knowledge, and then quickly you move on to another new one. Hustling is not my recommendation. Hustling for life is like struggling for life. You need to thrive instead. Be selective to what you choose and whom you're learning from. And keep in mind that any biological and physiological process of your body needs time for adaptation to take place. Use your critical thinking. Quick fix to posture is far-fetched, or Filipino describe it as a punch to the moon. A program that promotes better posture is not going to happen in one day. In case it did, I guarantee you that your results is going to be a short-term and temporary, instead of a long-term that could lead to more profound and permanent results. Consistency is immersing yourself to a choice of your path. And the only way to make that happen is to have the right constant reminder from an experienced virtual coach, like watching my videos. Watch my videos till the end and reflect. Watch it again if necessary. Repetition is the mother of skill. This is also a place of sharing. If you think this is profound and valuable to anybody, don't hesitate to share this to your friends and loved ones. Have you heard about QL? Does it sound familiar? Probably you heard this from your personal trainer. Well, I am very grateful to hear that your personal trainer knows about this deep muscle. But again, it's not enough to know your medical jargon anatomy parts. If you are still in the dark and confused to how and why it affects your posture, and all sorts of questions on how to emphasize and stretch the QL muscle properly. Do you know that your QL could pull your shoulder down and or lift your lower leg up? Just imagine how you stand and move if this muscle is constantly sore and under spasm. Literally, shorter and tighter than usual, such as the common lower back pain. Motion of your hip against your shoulder will be awkward, like the way old people walk when you have very tight and short QL. Over time to long-term effects leads to imbalanced movement, habits that affects your overall posture. Your QL primary job is to move and keep the neutral space between your hip and lower ribs on either side. So, where is actually your QL muscle located? Also known as quadratus lumborum. QL is like the psoas major is a paired muscle, and it is actually located behind the upper segment of your psoas major muscle. QL is the deepest abdominal muscle. That is why it is also not easy to palpate like the psoas major muscle. Interestingly enough, its attachment is a little bit more complicated than your psoas major muscle. QL muscle originates from all the lumbar spine of your lower backbone and to the last lower rib as well. Its lower end of insertion is on the crest of your hip bone. Yes, QL is definitely shorter than psoas major muscle. Hence, its action limits to lateral or side trunk flexion only. But its function and ability to move your upper trunk to your hip is a serious and crucial contribution to an efficient and optimal biomechanics. In fact, Your QL has a huge responsibility to maintain the health of your lower back more than your psoas major muscle. An absence of rotation of your hip is significant indicator of short and tight QL muscle. Just a quick and valuable reminder. Your choice of movement or your choice of muscle behavior creates what you are today. Posture is not only how you stand upright, but how you move as well. Anything and everything that you constantly or favor to do leads to habits, which over time becomes a skill of your choice. Then eventually leads to most of your unconscious poor posture that we called a hard habits to break. Assessment. A simple self-assessment is to first sit halfway at the edge of a table. Keep the legs straight on the side to be tested and align to your upper body. When you're ready, lie down on your side like I did here. You might need to take a video to compare yourself, one side of the body to the other. Besides expecting to be balanced on both sides, you are also looking for a nice distribution of curve of the side of your body. And subjectively, the sense of ease and comfort, ability for you to lengthen between your hip and your upper trunk. Before you proceed, have you watched my previous videos about posture? Especially part 2. For a while, I had been mentioning about psoas major muscle because psoas major muscle should always precede QL muscle. The shorter the length of the psoas major muscle, the less likely for you to fully stretch the QL muscle. As you move on later to stretch your QL, it is actually difficult to not involve your psoas major muscle here. To conclude, why and how does psoas muscle relates to your QL muscle? Remember where your psoas major muscle is attached? Both muscles have the same upper attachment to the lumbar spine, but the primary action is actually not the same. If a tight and short psoas major muscle could increase the curve of your lower back, which you experienced from the previous video, the QL primarily could reduce the length and add compression to both or either side of your waistline. So just imagine and visualize how these two muscles could disrupt the motion or the hip motion and distort the spine alignment. In order to optimally stretch your QL muscle, your lumbar spine should be at its neutral curve as possible, meaning it should not be in a hyperextended position, or a more medical term is the hyperlordotic lumbar spine, contributed mainly by the tight and short psoas major muscle. The more increased lower back curve, the less likely for you to emphasize and stretch your short and tight QL muscle accurately. For self-stretching, this is going to be very tricky compared to a one-on-one assisted stretch. Besides being deep and short, it is surrounded with muscles like the psoas major muscle that is easier to stretch. And behind it is another bigger and longer muscle called the latissimus dorsi muscle, which will be the main focus on our next episode. And no matter what, some psoas major muscle stretch rules is applied when you stretch your QL muscle. Before that, it's time to share to you another secret rule that most people doesn't know, the rule of up and over. The most common mistakes is not applying this up and over rule. If I am not mistaken, this is a very common term used when you are learning dancing or ballet. Stretching by lengthening is more productive than just pure bending. In my other video on Stretch the Right Way, I emphasize and highly recommend lengthening when you are stretching yourself. Check this out for you to understand the benefit of applying traction during your stretching. Now, time to apply this up and over to a full stretch. This is a very valuable concept that I'm sharing to you. Whether you are doing your own stretch or practicing stretch therapist, if you are seriously believe that Stretch the Truth channel will set your body free for life, then click like now. And if this is your first time, smash that subscribe button below. And get ready to reach your body's potential while improving the quality of your life. Seated with properly aligned posture as tolerable, rotate your shoulder with both arms straight and extended as shown. Depending on which side you choose, you will be facing to either your 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock direction. Begin to move by simultaneously leaning halfway forward and reaching out for the stretch with your arms above you. Remember to apply the up and over rule and elongate more than bending further down. But you are welcome to do what works for you. If you feel that you are more flexible for this particular seated stretch exercise. To stretch the full extent of your QL muscle, you need to involve the psoas major muscle to stabilize the hip down. Stretching one side of the QL with lower leg on the same side extended back will strictly stabilize the lower attachment of the QL as you move your upper body to apply the stretch. If you have done well and apply the up and over approach, you should not experience any discomfort, compression sensation, especially on the side that is not involved with the stretch. In case that happens, adjust and reduce your downward direction and increase your lengthening direction. Using a table that is tilted a little less than 45 degrees, dangle one leg at the edge of the table with other leg straight and just touching the ground. Gently drop and lean over on one of your elbow, just right on the side of your hip. With a slight trunk twist away from your straight lower leg, simultaneously reach out across your body. Again, apply the up and over move and feel the stretch along the side of your waist. Hold the stretch and pause for 2 seconds. Gently come out from the stretch and repeat. Because of the size, orientation, location, and action of QL muscle, QL is the most difficult to stretch. Beside the psoas major in front, there is the lower attachment of the lats muscle behind the QL. Muscle close to the surface of the body is easier to reach and stretch out better. Ignoring the rules and instruction in this video would less likely for you to emphasize and single out to stretch the QL muscle. But at the same time, any QL muscle stretching will definitely stretch any muscle in close proximity. Your body is composed of muscle that is not only connecting but also overlapping with each other. Hence, the term kinetic chain is often used to describe the interconnection of your muscular system. The order of this stretching strategy, if strictly applied and followed, will guarantee a more precise and deep lengthening of the muscle to target. And you can only watch and learn this here at Stretch the Truth. From yours truly, Jace Lee, your virtual postural coach. For more detailed and information about postural coaching, leave a message at the comment section below. Thank you for watching.